Only like 21,000, so.
I'm here. We're beginning in just a few moments. We got three more minutes before people get settled in, and we'll get started with the presentation.
But it's good because after 2 weeks you can wash it and you don't have a heavy cast on. You know what I mean? So, as I said, I just, and I have a bigger split thing, but I don't, it's so conversation. Basically, I broke it, after the wrist. And I count this little thing was a mess. So yeah, I fell and pushed my arm out to stop the fall.
Mine was on my elbow.
Oh no.
I don't really want to know what it actually is,
You did that here?
Yeah, yesterday.
On our way to the first day.
Like right out.
One more minute.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't really want to, know what actually happened.
Yeah. I saw the X-rays, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look. I refused to look.
But I'm good. I'm healing well. So you went to the hospital here?
Is that going to catch me over here, do you think? Barely. People are still funneling in, so we're going to wait for everyone to get settled.
How's she doing?
All right, everyone. So it's 11 o'clock. I've got a ton of stuff to cover here. Appreciate you coming and sitting in on this little conference, the whole conference, not just my little seminar, but the entire Miles of Possibilities conference. Thanks to everyone for having me here. I'll start off by saying that most of us here are friends. I know you in some way, shape, or form, so I'm pretty comfortable. I can be casual with you by telling you straight up, I'm not a professional speaker. So this piece of paper here is going to kind of be my roadmap through this little seminar. So if you're like, wow, I thought
We're not professional listeners. We're not
good, not professional
It's
listeners.
okay.
So, but I got some good stuff here for you, and the topic of today is the business of saving Route 66. So, in case anyone here doesn't know me, I'm Roman Rich. I do a lot of stuff to promote Route 66. I have for almost about 10 years. So, anyway, thanks for being here. I know you had a lot of choices for going to different speakers and stuff. I appreciate you sitting in here instead of taking an early lunch.
We can't you see the twins?
Next year. They're not big enough. We'll put you on diaper. Okay, all right. In case anyone's here and you have the ability to share or out there on YouTube, because we are streaming this live, I appreciate you sharing the conference because it just helps everybody on Route 66. All right, so I've been promoting Route 66 for a while now. Video, if you would, please. Here's out in California. That's kind of my little motto deal. But I've been going up and down Route 66 for, since the early 2000s exploring. And then around about 2010, I started doing some heavy promotion of Route 66. I just kind of got hooked, so to speak. Let's see here. Okay. So, bringing the world to bringing Route 66 to social media has been kind of a passion of mine. I've been going up and down the road, as you see here, doing different videos and things like that, trying to promote Route 66 as much as possible. So you're probably thinking, well, Roman Rich, you don't have a business on Route 66. I don't. So what do you know about business on Route 66? Well, let's see here, sorry. Yeah, that is memory lane. Very good. So, what makes Route 66 so special? How are we going to keep it around? There are plenty of historic roads and routes like Lincoln Highway and Dixie Highway and on a whole bunch of other pathways. What makes Route 66 so special? What makes it resonate around the world? Well, let me get a couple of answers from you guys, and let me hear what you think, what makes Route 66 so special. Can anybody here tell me what they think makes Route 66 what it is?
The song.
The song?
The people of the highway.
The people of the highway? That's good, that's good.
Memories of childhood.
Memories of childhood, nostalgia, that's a good one, right?
The fact that it was the first road across the country.
One of the first transcontinental highways, that's true. And even though it didn't go from East Coast to West Coast, it's still very instrumental because it went from Chicago to Los Angeles, connecting major cities across the United States. Anybody else?
Life begins at the off-ramp.
That's right, life begins at the off-ramp. So getting off of the interstate, that's kind of a spin today where people are hustling and bustling down the interstate. You can get away from all that and kind of see America for what it really is by getting away from all that fast lane stuff.
I think there's more preservation on 66 than the other.
I would probably tend to agree, there's a lot more attention,
How
so.
about the Cars movie? I think I got read.
The Cars movie, that's true, yeah, that's
It's a
true.
journey, not the destination.
That's right.
I think it's the overall promotion of the road over the years that's caused it to be so interesting.
Mm-hmm, yep. Overall, there's a lot of cool things up and down Route 66 that people come to see from all over the world. Some are buildings, some are landscapes, some of it is people, but people, for one reason or another, are coming to Route 66 to experience something that they haven't experienced before. It's the dream of their lifetime, as Gary Turner would put it. And I personally believe that. If it wasn't for Route 66 and its culture and its rich source of history of Americana, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. All right, so let's see here. The relationship between businesses and tourists are the major factor that keep Route 66 running. The exchange of money for fulfilled dreams is a special relationship built on passion, creativity, personal expression, and the strong desire to find accomplishment. In other words, the tourist, he wants to find that Route 66 thing, and maybe his sense of accomplishment is getting to the end of the pier and getting that certificate or something, and being able to say, I did it all. I did all 2,448 miles of Route 66. So they're going to spend some money along the way to do that. They're going to basically supplement their trip with memories, and in order for them to do that, they got to spend some dime, right? All right, so how many people in this room own a business on Route 66? Can I get a show of hands? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so can I get a round of applause for these people? Terry, tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, I started restoration on Sprague Super Service in Normal, Illinois, and worked on it 10 years, and the town of Normal bought it from me 2 years ago, and they'll finish the restoration. But I'm renting space for a gift shop called Ryburn Place Gifts and Gab, where I get to meet all sorts of wonderful people traveling the road.
That's great. Who else was there? Zora Maroney?
Our family has an antique store in Amarillo on Route 66, and we're going into our 22nd year.
22nd year.
And
22
then
years,
you love it,
everyone.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Texas Ivy.
Texas Ivy.
Texas Ivy down in Amarillo on 6th Street if you're going. So I know there's a number of other businesses in here too. I know you guys are running t-shirts and other little mementos and stuff, and those are good businesses too. So what we want to explore is, oh, that was me, sorry. I never ran a Route 66 business, but I've been a part of business since I was a child. This is actually me right here, shoveling asphalt at 5 years old. So I know a little bit about running a business. So did I miss a slide, Chris? No. Well, it's easy for a lot of people to think that Route 66 is like this yellow brick road, so to speak. That's why my opening slide was the yellow brick road. Some people think that they're just going to go and set up shop and right on Route 66, and because of that, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, they're going to be famous, and they're going to get rich beyond their wildest dreams, right? Is that like the ultimate dream? It sounds crazy to some of you guys, but a lot of people think that oh, it's just as easy as setting up shop on Route 66. So what is it like to really run a business? you know, you got this guy here with, you know, looks like an octopus. He's got so many things to do. In reality, running a business on Route 66 is pretty tough. Often you find yourself working 10, 12-hour days, 7 days a week. Am I right, Marie?
Yeah.
That's,
More, well, yeah.
you're
it's
cleaning
And
rooms,
100-degree weather, too.
100-degree weather.
Production,
She,
yeah.
she owns a t-shirt shop.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Jeff.
so you find yourself working long hours,
Check in, yeah.
7 days a week sometimes, never getting a break, staying up late, worrying about the bills, maintenance, shortages, taking care of employees, trying to fuel your flames of passion to keep going on Route 66, dealing with equipment failures, maybe an uncooperative town that you live in or something. There's a whole multitude of opposition or hurdles for a business owner to try to overcome. So it's not easy. So, I mean, friends, we have to support our Route 66 business owners. That's what it all comes down to. They are working tirelessly. And probably the number one thing that a business owner faces on Route 66 is the stories. The stories of the travelers coming by and telling them what a great time they're having up and down Route 66. Meanwhile, this poor guy is chained to his business. Am I wrong? So they've made a real commitment to be there for the tourists and for the roadies. And that kind of covers my next segment here. So in my opinion, you've got three real instrumental factors that make up Route 66, that make it work, that make it survive. You have the business itself and the owners. You have the tourists, and then you have the roadies. And we'll get into the roadies in a little bit and what's considered a roadie. Probably most of us here in this room would be considered a roadie because you're here, you share an irrational passion for Route 66, just like me, right? So, you're probably a roadie. Where a tourist, they come along down Route 66 once, twice, maybe 3 times, and they spend money, they find the low-hanging fruit, so to speak, right, Nick? And then they move on. They're there to basically kind of occupy a set amount of time to get down the road and to make some memories and to get back to their life. So, roadies. All right. There we are, that's right. We are the worker bees of Route 66. We're constantly floating up and down the road, meeting new people, guiding tourists, cultivating new roadies, planting seeds, finding new and exciting attractions, spearheading different causes for preservation, and sometimes we gotta even report some unfortunate losses of places, buildings, roads, and sometimes even people. But that's what we do. We are the worker bees of Route 66. Let's see here. Speaking about worker bees, the flowers we pollinate up and down Route 66 come in the form of social media platforms, magazine articles, association newsletters, and even face-to-face with other roadies. So now that the players have been named in this whole big scheme of Route 66 and how it survives, you're probably even wondering, Rich, is this even endangered? Is Route 66 endangered? I have a lot of people that would say no, but I'm here to tell you, yes, Route 66 is indeed endangered. That's why I'm standing here. We lose infrastructure, roads, bridges, culverts, buildings, people. People is the most important thing. We lose them all the time. If our communities, our roadies, our civic leaders, and the businesses don't evolve as the world does, we're going to slowly see this slip away. So it's important that we all get involved and try to throw in a little piece here and there. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. So, let's see here. All right, roadies. Do you have a favorite place on Route 66 that you love? No matter if it's old or if it's new, it's your duty as a roadie to get out there and talk about it. Promote it to the world. Throw it on Twitter, throw it on YouTube, throw it on Facebook, whatever you can do, tell the world, and make sure you do it more than once. Because most people see a post, if you're on Facebook, for instance, probably only 5 or 10% of your friends or your outreach actually see your post. So it's important that if you really love something on Route 66, like Gary Turner's here, you gotta post it all the time. You're helping to save that. Let's see here. And it can be anything on Route 66. It doesn't have to be a person or a building. It can be a place. It can be like Lava Hada Hill or something scenic, or Palo Duro Canyon, which isn't on Route 66, but it's close enough. It could be a complete town. Anything that you feel passionate about Route 66 that you enjoy, it's your duty to get out there and share it with the world. People want to see it. They really do. Okay. You don't have to post everywhere. Your contributions could be as simple as just giving a review wherever you go. If you're not a social media person, you have a smartphone, maybe you enjoy going to diners or cafes or restaurants, or maybe you enjoy going to like different zoos or things, or any other little tourist hotspots. Be sure to take the 30 seconds or a minute to give them a review. Give them a positive review, because total strangers will see this that had nothing to do with Route 66, and you'll start planting seeds in those people based on your reviews, and you'll build intrigue and some interest. People will start to go and explore these things because you're out there giving good reviews on it. And you're supporting your business owners again too at the same time. You can't get enough good reviews. Let's see here. So here are some tips that I have kind of come up with for social media in creating engaging posts. Number one is pick one topic for each post. Number two is find places that people aren't reporting on and bring the world new places and people. So there's something new and exciting. What's the one there? Is it Motorheads? Is that
Right.
Where's he at?
He's at exit 90 off of I-55, so
Okay.
right north of Lake Springfield.
Right.
So right north of the lake.
And he's
before-
got a collection
before
of cars
south
and
of-
a cafe
oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
He's got a big joint. It's an old Stuckey's.
Yeah.
And Jeff probably knows more than I do, but it's amazing. He's got so much stuff and a museum outside, and just, it's, you
He's
know.
got about 70% of the Shays gas station collection.
Yeah, and he's
parts that you
fully
don't
open
have.
now with food and drink and everything else, so go support him. He needs it.
See, I haven't even been there,
Yeah.
but I know about
But
it.
he's, you know, half an hour from here, right?
Right. How do I know about it though?
Penny Black.
Well, Penny Black. a whole slew of other people
Right,
have
Penny Black.
put it out there in the world.
Right.
And they've came and brought it to my attention personally, but they've also put it out there in the world, and I've seen it and noticed it, and yeah, when I get back up that way, I'm definitely gonna be stopping in. So that is basically a testament.
So he's like half an hour from here, 40 minutes.
That's
I mean,
right.
He's not very far.
Right.
Everyone should go see him at
That's
this
right.
conference.
There's a number of other new,
Save
there's
some
a,
money, okay?
there's a number of other new businesses
Yeah.
along Route 66 that are the same way, and one I'll touch on later, but Mel's Drive-In, have you been there, Nick?
The one in Santa Monica?
In Santa Monica?
Yeah, it was great.
See, I haven't been there either,
Yeah.
but guess what, I know about it, and it's on my list. So that's what we're talking about, this right here. Find people in places that aren't getting the spotlight, that are fresh and new, bring those to light. That is like the major thing. Use new and innovative equipment such as drones, 360 cameras, laser beams, time machines, whatever it is you can concoct. So, and I know some people aren't like technical and everything, but just anything, just your phone, using your smartphone, that's enough. But if you have the skills to get out there and be creative, you know, kind of like I've done in my footage and stuff, I would encourage you to do that. If you want to go buy a drone and fly up there and take pictures of whatever or video, I'll encourage you. You can ask me for help. I'll tell you how to do it. Get creative with your angles. If you're into still photography, try to take creative angles that are going to compel people to take a second look at your image and not just thumb over it when it comes through their Facebook feed. Don't overload your audience with an entire album of photos or really lengthy videos. People are looking for quick bits of entertainment from social media. They're not looking to read a whole novel. Even though you may have some really great stuff, you may want to let it trickle out, so to speak. You'll get a lot more interaction that way. So keep your photo uploads under 3 most of the time. Do a quick on-screen interview with people, around 30 seconds, unless they are the main topic. So if you're passing through somewhere, like say I do a video at Motorheads, and I see some tourists, I may grab them real quick and say, hey, what do you think about this great place? And I'll try to get 15, 20 seconds out of them, and then I'll move on to my video. And unless it's the main proprietor and you're doing an interview with him exclusively, you just want to get quick little bits and pieces, otherwise people get bored. Okay. For videos, you want to get to the point quickly. You got 5 seconds to captivate somebody, and that's it. 5 seconds, and otherwise they're going to start tuning out and going someplace else. Try to avoid long pauses in your video. Silence is deadly. It's uncomfortable. Keep your video short, around 3 minutes, until you start to build your audience and your following up. Then you can do longer and longer videos. 3 minutes is about the cutoff point. Try like hell to not stutter or say like I've done about 40 times already in this presentation. Saying is a killer. Hold your recording device as steadily as possible. Oh, did I miss something?
You just said it
You
again.
said it.
Yeah. It's tough. That's why I said try like hell. Hold your recording device as steady as possible. If it's a camera or a phone, you'll see what I'm using over here today is, it's not just a tripod, that is a gimbal is what they call it, so I can walk around, it'll keep the camera smooth, won't jitter. Avoid windy and really noisy conditions. That's something else, because if it's windy out and you barely hear it, yes ma'am?
I just bought a lavalier mic and that really helps.
Yeah.
That you can plug right into your phone.
That's right. Microphones, especially with a wind muffler, like over there on this camera that you see that I forgot to turn on. That will keep your wind noise down at least, even in really windy conditions. But if it's windy at all, you feel it. It's really loud on that microphone. You don't realize it, but it is. Let's see here. Okay, so business owners, you got some homework here. You have a major responsibility to yourself and the rest of the world to bring a fresh and unique set of branding to the table. First and foremost, do you have a memorable brand? Do you have a branding that somebody will remember and without being coaxed out of them, basically? Like, you notice on my business card, I'm sitting in a recliner in the middle of the highway. It's pretty memorable, and the word Roman Rich is a brand in itself. We thought long and hard about that before actually using it. That's a brand. What are some other good brands, Marie? Big Texan would be one. I
Yeah,
think.
Big Texan,
Yeah.
yeah, they have a good spiel going.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just did a quick trip out to Tucumcari and back.
Tumbleweed?
Tumbleweed, I stopped there.
Nacelle?
Yeah, and I brought some little brochure things, her little rack cards.
Mhm.
She said she's been kind of hurting, so that would be a good place to stop and send some love.
Nacelle is
Yeah.
basically on the Texas-Oklahoma border at the last stop. What's the rest of it? Is that it? Last stop, Tumbleweed Grill?
Yeah, it's about
Yeah,
half a mile. from the border.
there's no place like this place.
So this must be the place.
So this must be the place?
Right.
Yeah, and she has a little souvenir shop, she's got art for sale, she has a cafe, and she's such a talented artist, so if you're watching out there on YouTube, make sure you stop in and see her, right there on the border of Texas and Oklahoma.
I did 66 burgers.
Yes, that's right, she takes an iron brand, heats them up, and then stamps the tops of the burgers, the bun,
Mhm.
and so you get yourself an authentic Route 66 burger, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Jeff?
I just want to mention, we have the night spot up there,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been, several organizations here in Illinois have been working to save it from being demolished by the public library next door.
Wow,
And looks like we're going to be successful,
that's great.
and they're going to fix it up and hopefully reopen it.
It's a really intriguing place.
Where is it?
It's in Fairmont City, right next to East St. Louis,
It-
so it has its challenges location-wise.
It's not in East St. Louis though.
No, it's not.
And
It's right
It's a
close
nice
to
area.
Cahokia Mounds,
Yeah,
it's right next to
nice.
Cahokia Mounds.
It's a working man's area for
Yeah.
sure. But it's on the fringes and could have led to its demise.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool to see it resurrected into something, and being so close to Coquia Mounds, it does have potential.
There is hope for the night spot, so.
So, again, that yellow brick road doesn't exist. Route 66 by itself will not bring people through your door, not enough to survive anyway. I've seen many newcomers come and go because they didn't carve out their niche, and that is important. You gotta be different. You can't copy someone else's shtick. That doesn't work either. I've seen a lot of copycats up and down the road, and I don't know why they don't make it, but I guess people, they filter it out. They say, oh, that's somebody else is doing that. You're not gonna replicate what somebody else did. I don't think there's too much room for multiple acts on Route 66 doing the same thing. But here's some good examples of businesses. I want to go through a bunch of them that have done something unique and really cool for their own brand or for their business. And starting off with probably the biggest is the Big Texan. No other place, probably in the United States, does what they do best, which is lure you in with a free steak dinner, right? And then everything is big because it's Texas.
They don't support 66 though.
They don't outwardly support Route 66.
They don't financially support.
Right,
either.
but they're still there. People are still coming. They're getting off the highway. They still have a Route 66 souvenir shop, so it does plant seeds. Basically, their branding and their marketing is so powerful, they don't need Route 66. They've grown beyond Route 66. They are basically the model for businesses that survived and weathered the storm that the interstate created. You gotta hand it to them. They did what they did, and when are they supposed to build their new building?
Now, I think they're doing it now.
Right, and so they continue to grow, they continue to evolve, and we can only hope that in the future, they will outwardly financially support Route 66. But even though they don't come right out and hand out checks and money, they're still there on Route 66 planting seeds, in my opinion at least. The next is the Moss Motel. Neon has started a craze amongst most motels and hotels with their signature sign, and Bob and Ramona have been there for ages, taking care of people.
72 years.
That's right, 72 years. Has it been that long? They've been on
47.
47.
Well, they haven't
Yeah.
been there 72 years.
Motel's been
Yeah,
there.
Almost 50 years they've been taking care of tourists.
Miss Lebanon or Miss Hotel?
Next one is the Jackrabbit Trading Post. Now, they have made recently a splash on social media. When I first met Cindy, it's been 2010 when she signed my hood. I was trying to tell her back then, you gotta get on Facebook. I'm not getting on Facebook. And now they're like one of the most popular Route 66 businesses on Facebook.
Ask how many people have a Jackrabbit sign.
How many people in here have a sign?
1566.
Probably 10 people in this room alone. I've got one. I've got a sign. It's been a huge deal. They resurrected the brand that created the Jackrabbit, which was putting signs all up and down Route 66 and luring people in to their little tourist trap. It's what's old is new again, and people love it. But yeah, anytime she posts something on Facebook, bam, she gets like 100, 150 likes, just like that. And that's what you want. The Ariston Cafe, despite the fact that it got sold, it was operated by 3 generations. It's actually older than Route 66. It started here in Carlinville, moved over to Litchfield. Their testament to running a successful business is one of the best because they actually moved with the road. How many miles are we away from Litchfield? We're like, what, 18, 20 miles? 20 miles, they moved their business. It was originally here on the Carlinville Square, moved it over to Route 66. And then, when the highway moved again and went up to the backside of the building, they flipped their entrance around to accommodate the tourists. And so, the Adams have been committed to serving tourists on Route 66, and I believe their passion really shows, and that's what's made them successful. Cozy Dog, you can't, it's the inventor of the corn dog. How can you beat that? That one's gonna live on. Oh, that's Lily, that's my daughter, yeah. Yeah, we're big collectors. That's her holding one of my prized Cozy Dog signs. Angel and Juan Delgadillo. Now, Juan is no longer with us, but his business lives on. And Angel, of course, is still with us, and his business is thriving too. I can tell you, go to Seligman in the afternoon, And just count how many tour buses stop and let 50 people unload to get out and roam Seligman. And they beeline right to Angel's Gift Shop and to the Snow Cap as well. So their branding that they did early on is paying off and basically is preserving that business. The launching pad, the Gemini Giant. Now this one here, this is kind of a two-way story here for me. So something that was created decades ago allows this business to preserve. The previous owner tried to ride those coattails and found that it didn't work, right? They went out of business. I know I visited there a few times under the previous ownership and was not impressed. So what you found was people doing what I call drive-by shootings.
Well, they had original owners that did a wonderful job. Then they sold to some guy
Previous owners,
that had,
right,
yeah, so originally it was well-run.
right,
Then they sold it to someone who had it for 7 years,
Mhm.
ran it down.
yep.
Then it was closed for about seven
They-
years till.
They thought they were gonna
Yeah.
get on Yellow Brick Road.
Right.
They
But
made
they-
the mistake of thinking this was Yellow Brick
They
Road.
replaced poor quality food,
Yeah.
et cetera. So
Yeah.
they changed what was successful into something not successful.
That's exactly right, and that's why I'm bringing this one up, because it basically shows two stories.
Mhm.
But because of the imagination and creativity of the original owners, this brand can be resurrected, and I'm hoping that they'll be opening here soon.
They will be.
Yeah, so,
They're not here because they're working on the rest.
that's right, that's right. Yeah.
But the small businesses, the local town people have to support them, because if not, they're not gonna survive.
That's right, that's a point that I failed to cover here. Not only do you, as a business owner, do you want to appeal to the Route 66 tourists, but it's imperative that you also speak to the locals as well. The locals are what's going to support you in the off-season and everywhere in between. Was there a question back there? No, okay, I thought I saw someone raise their hand. Okay, let's see here. Okay.
They have seen a lot of local support.
Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah. The Cuckoos Nest. Now, this is a little montage I put together, years ago when Wayland signed my truck. Now, the Cuckoos Nest, in my opinion, is very similar to that of the Gemini Giant. They're almost exact stores. They're in a small town, kind of like in Wilmington. This is in Miami. But this place thrives. Why does it thrive? Well, because when you go in there, you see Wayland's passion. Who's on the grill? Wayland. He's on the grill. He's the guy making up your buffalo burger or making your fried green tomatoes. And not that it requires a hands-on approach from every owner, but it helps to see somebody out there who's really involved in their business and they want to see it grow, because that is a contagious attitude that spreads off to the employees and the customers and everybody else.
Not to mention the 2 vintage muscle cars in the driveway.
That's right, he's got a Ford Fairlane, and I forget what the other one is out there. So he's done a really good job of capturing some of the nostalgia that is related to that business. Okay, moving on. Railhaven Motel, it's another good one. I've actually had an unpleasant experience there, but I'm still here and pleased to tell you this is a great place to stay. We had a little hiccup years ago, and I'm over it. I'm over it because the place is great. It's a great place to stay. It's clean, the people are hospitable, and it's the only place I've seen on Route 66 where if you turn on the TV and you go through the channel listings, there is a little channel that says Route 66 TV on there, and it's nothing but documentaries about Route 66. So that's an added little bonus for y'all that didn't know that about the Railhaven. Really neat place, lots of cars and stuff around, lots of nostalgia. All the rooms are decorated accordingly, like the old times. Lynn?
It used to be an old Best Western, I believe,
It still is considered a Best Western.
and they've got they did have the old sign out in back.
That's right, that's right. Probably one of the best ones, Harley Russell from the Sand Hills Curiosity Shop. Is he a business? How many of you guys think Harley's a business?
Does not sell one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a trick question.
Yeah, well,
He's a business.
he's a businessman.
He is a business. How do you think he gets all those signs? With money. Where does he get the money from?
Donations.
Donations.
So, Harley's the man. He is the most stealth business on Route 66, bar none. He's the stealth business. If you ever see a tour come through and you see this man come alive, you'll watch the tip jar overfloweth. That's his business. That's his business. He's a character. He is an entertainer. He is his own brand. He is his own marketing. His marketing works 24 hours a day. He's on countless documentaries. People are constantly talking about him on social media. He is the stealth business. He's the man. He's the man. Low overhead, hardly any maintenance. He just goes out and buys signs, plays his guitar like a wild man, and people love him for it.
He's in overalls and barefoot.
What's that, Lynn?
He's in overalls and barefoot.
That's right, overalls and barefoot. Yep, out there stomping around. The Blue Swallow Motel, Kevin and Nancy, they didn't try to recreate the brand. What they did do, however, was they resurrected the hospitality and the feel of the world-famous motel. And as a result, the Blue Swallow is probably one of the highest priority stays of any Route 66 traveler. The Rock Cafe, again, nestled in a small, quiet community of Stroud. Despite fires, hardships stemming from labor, Dawn and Beverly, they continue to gain attractions from tourists and from roadies. Here's Beverly holding up their new menu. It's like the size of Oklahoma, just about. It's huge. So they're constantly reinventing and adding new things. Like they've got a food truck outside, and they've got a seating.
Airstream out there now.
Yeah, they got a little Airstream out there, and they got an outdoor seating area. So they're constantly redoing stuff and adding new stuff for people. Last but not least.
And mentioned she was Sally the Porsche.
That's right. She was in the movie Cars. She was Sally the Porsche, which I had shown right there. Yeah, she was one of the inspirations for that.
Some may not know that.
So last but not least is Gary Turner and his replica Gay Parita station. Now that's a replica station. He built it himself. He created this whole thing based on photos that he saw in history that he read from the previous owners that lived there decades before him. He was the ambassador of Route 66. Nobody knew exactly why they were on Route 66. I mean, everybody thinks they know, but you didn't know until you met Gary. And for those of you that have met Gary, you understand what I'm talking about. So if you pulled a drive-by on Gary's place, which again, I'll go into drive-by shootings. A drive-by shooting, like on the Gemini Giant, is where you drive by, you roll your window down, you take your camera, stick it out the window, and you take off. That's why I call it drive-by shooting. And if you pulled a drive-by shooting on Gary's place, you really missed out. You thought you knew what Route 66 was, but in reality, you didn't. You really didn't. You probably rushed through it, got it done in 7 or 8 days, told all your friends, oh yeah, I did all Route 66, it was pretty cool, you know, but you really don't know what Route 66 is if you did it that way. Gary would teach you why you were on 66 and what the road was all about. He would do this in about 20 or 30 minutes. He had a spiel, he had a script that he would follow. Most people aren't aware of that, but he had a script that he would follow. And basically, he would make you feel like you were just baptized, and you would gladly buy a couple of books and probably a 4-pack of Route 66 soda pop to go when you were taking off and heading west. Basically, your life was changed forever unless you were just shallow and cold as a puddle of mud. You probably became a roadie, even if only for a minute. You were a roadie just for a moment. He would spark passion in people. So Gary's probably the reason why I'm here today, and I'll play a little video for you right now from a video I put together a few years ago after he died.
People that's never been here before, they're wanting to find Route 66. That's what all these people are doing out there. You know, you go to a whole bunch of people, they can tell you about the Bible and about the finding the Lord and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It's showing them that it's going to take a special purpose, not to everyone, but it's going to take a special person to get through to other people. One person can't do all that. But when you do that and you introduce them to Route 66, you did your job.
That was a video I did commemorating what Gary did for Route 66 after he passed. And if you heard all that, if you bring people to Route 66, you did your job. That means you're really. You know what I
He
mean?
sold more of Dave Wickline's images of 66 book than all the other
Combined.
businesses put together.
Yeah, He sold more Wickline books than anybody combined. That's right. We're running a little short on time, so I'm gonna buzz through this. Dan Rice, another one that's created a brand there out in the pier of Route 66. Bob Lyle, the Route 66 Art Gallery, creating wonderful new pieces from paint that falls off of Cadillacs at the Cadillac Ranch. Amazing stuff. Blue Whale Catoosa for a while, and it wasn't really even on Route 66 when Route 66 went past, but it just goes to show that you can create something that will bring travelers in after Route 66 has been gone. The Boots Motel, another one, they resurrected it, they put it back with neon. If you want to stay there and kick your feet up and watch TV, guess what? It's not going to happen because they built it to model what it was like in the 40s and 50s, and they didn't have TV in there, so you get to listen to the radio. The Roadrunner Motel, it's another good one to stay at. They've got themed rooms. They're trying to carve out their niche, and Tucumcari is a tough town to do that in. The Safari Motel, which is kind of across the street, another great one that Richard and Gail Talley brought back to life, and now Larry's running it, and he's kind of put the icing on the cake, so to speak. It's a great place to stay. Eat Right Diner, it's another one just purchased by an unsuspecting individual. Didn't even know he was on Route 66, but he was so intrigued with the nature of the business that he just had to have it. He had to save it when the old owner said he was calling it quits.
Did you convert them?
Oh yeah, let's see the shield out there. That's right. Yeah, and now
So where's he at? What
he's in St. Louis,
street?
7th and Shoto.
Okay.
7th and Shoto. And now he's posting on social media like crazy, and he's telling me, we talk about once a month, Rich, I got people coming in here from all over the world now, and he's really excited. So, all right, moving on, I'm gonna pass up some of these other ones here. We're gonna buzz through them real quick. Cafe Fina, Santa Fe, New Mexico. You've probably never heard of it. Look it up. It's awesome. Probably the top 3 places of my picks to eat at on all of Route 66. Amazing. 1984, Springfield, Missouri. It's a block off Route 66. You've probably never heard of that either, but it's a video game arcade. It's been there for 10 years. And this place, if you've ever played video games or pinball, this speaks towards the younger crowd, people my age and a little bit younger. Amazing place. You can go in there and for $7 you can play your heart out. Cliftons Cafeteria, another place that got recreated on Route 66. It's been there since I believe the 30s or something. Is that right, Nick? Giant tree in the middle of the place. I mean, branding doesn't get any better than this. And they're resurrecting what worked before. Mel's Drive-In, we talked about that earlier. I haven't been there, but that looks like a great place too. Nona's Kitchen in Waynesville, if you've ever been there, you always go back. Some of the best food you can get. Trail of Tears, that's another one that's being resurrected right now, thanks to Chris and Marie. Great place, and it just goes to show you, you don't have to be selling anything to be a viable business, a viable part of the life of Route 66 that brings people here. They don't sell a thing, but people come to see it. So here's a few tips on not what to do. And I'm going to try to buzz through this quick. Basically, avoid political and spiritual debate. That's a big one. And I just tell you, I'm not going to get into all this. I'll probably do another separate video that goes into this a little bit more in depth. But I've been doing online social media stuff before the internet was even built. We used to have a thing called bulletin board systems where you call into another computer. Well, I ran one of those at like 13 or 14 years old. So for 28 years or so now, I've been doing this. And I can tell you, these never end well. They never end well. Nobody wins. You don't change anybody's mind. It never happens. You end up at a stalemate at best. But what does linger on from that is the memory of a bad feeling. You just know that you had a run-in with this fellow or this other individual, and it wasn't a pleasant one, and now you don't like them. And so as a Route 66 business owner, you got to avoid this train wreck. You have to avoid this train wreck. If you get out there on public social media and start spouting off your opinions, your ideas, people are going to judge you for it, and you're going to pay for it. You won't even know it. And I'm not saying you don't have a right to your free speech and all that. You do, but you also have a right to failure. And people also have their right to choose. So it's best to kind of leave that stuff tucked behind. If you ever notice on Facebook, you'll never ever see me comment on anything like that, ever. Because I've learned by watching other people. It just doesn't work out very well. If you do find yourself in such a predicament, I will tell you the fastest way to minimize damage is to let your let the other person on the other side that you're combative with, that you're debating with, let them have the last word. That's the fastest way to drop it and to kill it off, is just to shut up and not say anything more and let them have the last word. That will minimize damage for those that just can't
They
hold
can't
themselves.
argue back with you.
Yeah, that's right, right. You just stop. So, I really wanted to get into that more. It really bums me out because it's a big thing that kills a lot of businesses is people talking about politics and religion and even sports. I've even seen people get into arguments over sports. It's crazy, you know. So don't be a hermit. This applies for the roadies and the business owners alike. If you love Route 66, if you love your employees, if you love something that is a place that you frequent, let the world know. Shout it out. Let them know. That's what you can do to contribute to Route 66. Some tips for posting online. Smile. You always want to smile. If you don't smile, people will read that as a negative response and they'll turn you off or they'll quit following you. So if you're going to get on video and do stuff like that, you always want to smile. Kind of like this guy. Now, this could be a sore subject, right?
Right.
Now, he isn't the subject, though. Forget about the man, forget about the person, but focus on what he does that's successful. He's upbeat, he smiles, he looks at the camera, and he convinces people through the camera that he's going to give you a great message, and he's going to make you feel good, and as a result, people give him money, right? It doesn't matter what you think about the man, what he does works. And it's all through the positive energy that he exudes to people. That's it, simple.
Talk to people about Route 66
That's
or
right.
listen to their story.
That's right, yep, that's right. Staying upbeat and smiling is critical. And if you can't do it, don't do it. Don't try it. Practice in the mirror at home. Ask people to share. Let me go back. Ask people to share what it is you're posting. I know some people will tell you not to do that. It's a detriment. I disagree. I ask for people to share all the time, and they do it. If you make a mistake and you have negative reviews, say you're sorry. That's another one for businesses. If you have a review site and somebody gets mad at you, and it doesn't matter, because the number one rule of marketing is perception is reality. Whatever that person sees or believes, that's what they think, and you're not going to change their mind. So if you upset somebody, just say sorry. Say sorry, get it over with, because you're not going, again, just like the politics and religion, you're not going to convince them otherwise. Let's see here. If you do get into that situation, again, say sorry. Don't argue with the person on the review site. Respond in a positive way. Publicly announce in your response what actions you're going to take to prevent any future occurrences. And if you do that, people will recognize your willingness, and soon you will generate positive reviews that overshadow the negative ones. People will see you as being a responsible business owner. Yes, Maureen?
Can't you delete negative
Nope.
things?
No.
You
No,
can't?
not off a true site, not off Google or something. So
Okay.
if you get one, you have to tackle it. And you can't tackle it with negativity. You have to
Right.
tackle it with passion and love, so to speak,
Right.
that you're going to get past this. And every business has this happen to them. Nobody runs a perfect business. So it's happened in my business, and you just have to swallow it, smile, and say, you know, I'm really sorry this happened, but here's what we're going to do to make sure this never happens again. So, let's see here. Back up. This thing's a little slow. So, reach out for help. If you're a business owner, like this guy, reach out for help. Get a hold of your roadies. Get a hold of them on Facebook. Hit up on Messenger. Email them. Call them. Even your patrons that just walk into your store, ask them for a simple review. Say, hey, you know what? It'd be nice if I could get some positive reviews here. I'm a little low, and I'm trying to get more business coming in. Could you just take 30 seconds to give me a great review on Google or Yelp or TripAdvisor? Become friends with your roadies and invite them into your business. That's another thing too, just like with Motorheads. I've gotten 2 or 3 invitations from that guy, and I promise I'm gonna get up there.
Oh, Rich?
Yeah.
It's true, because there's Terry's invited Stacy and myself to spend the night and help her out
There
and
you
stuff
go.
and hang out.
Yeah. Invite your roadies.
You're all welcome.
Yeah. Be a welcoming business owner, because people will come then, and you want people to come. Ask them questions, like Brenda was saying. Talk to them about what their interest in Route 66 is. You'll find out more about them and what makes them tick, and then you can say, hey, What media platforms are you using to post? Can you post a picture on Instagram for me? Can you do this? Can you do that for me? Can you help me out? Asking for help, using the word help is a big deal. People love to help, am I wrong? Whenever, if I came up to you and said, hey, tell me how to get down the street, that has a little bit more of a negative connotation as if I come up to you and say, hey, can you help me out for a second? I'm looking to try to get down the street over here. Can you point me in the right direction? You'll get far more better responses that way. Ask your patrons to share those social experiences on the platforms. Get involved yourself, and if you're camera shy or you don't want to get online, that's fine, that's okay. Find somebody in your organization or within your close network that will do it for you. Delegate someone and make sure you pick someone who's happy and cheery and is excited about doing it, and they're not like all bummed out about it. This is something I know we're going over time a little bit, but this is something that Gary established, and I think for business owners, this is important. Establish a network with other business owners. That is critical. For the longest time, because I spent a lot of hours with Gary, I sat there and listened to phone calls. He would call Melba down at the 411 on the route and say, hey, you got a couple from France that are coming. They're really nice. Here's what they look like. Great people. And within that network, they're taking care of the tourists and the roadies that are traveling Route 66. But nobody even knew it. It was this underground network of communication. So if you're a business owner, reach out to neighboring business owners, and it doesn't even have to be within a few miles. It could be, down in Arizona if you're in Kansas. But yeah,
Years
Lynn?
ago, when I first got into the computer, we had an internet group that was all Route 66 related. And there's a girl from Michigan who was moving to Arizona, and we helped her move everybody that was on the group. She stayed with me in Illinois, she stayed with someone in Missouri, and we got her safe, and she was young, she was like in her early 20s, and we got her out to Arizona.
That's great. You guys took care of her.
Yeah.
And that's what Gary had established too. I know he talked with Rich Henry, Melba, Kevin at the Best Budget Inn, Nancy and Kevin Mueller at the Blue Swallow. He talked to everybody. And he would always guide people because he was the ambassador of Route 66. But everybody could be the ambassador of Route 66. Everybody can do this. If you have a business owner, talk with your other neighboring owners, brainstorm with them, take care of one another. That's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned a few things. I'll take questions, Jeff.
I wanted to get this in before we ran out of time. So, the mill is actually a museum, but it has a gift shop component. So we don't actually own it, a foundation owns it, that board and I around that foundation. But we couldn't do what we're doing without this woman right here.
Without Marie?
She makes so many t-shirts, including the one you're
She's a hustler. That's right. Wearing one of her t-shirts right now.
Featherstone's got one on right here.
Marie is driven. I mean,
she is keeping us all
Yeah.
afloat. So we owe her a round of applause.
That's right. I gotta tell you, we just had a conversation about this. Marie is probably the best salesperson on Route 66, hands down. I mean, she is driven. And she's passionate about the road. She's even told me, Rich, I just want to be out on the road. I just want to go and talk to people and meet them. That's a true roadie right there. And you don't have to own a business on Route 66. Everybody has some skin in the game here, and everybody can contribute and make things happen. I mean, at some point, I'd like to see 50 different Roman riches driving around doing what I do, under different names, of course. But, I mean, there's enough room for everybody. It doesn't have to be just one person. Everybody can get involved. And so I hope you all learned something from this little presentation. And if you have other questions, Lynn, yeah?
What's the story behind that chair?
The story behind the chair is the chair has been out there at Katie's Summit for, gosh, I don't know, probably 8 years or so. And it's up at Katie's Summit, which is in California. And that section of road was closed off. Nick, Jamie, and I were out there, and I just went out and grabbed a chair because it was sitting off in the dirt somewhere. And I pulled it out and sat my butt down and told Nick, hey, shoot a picture of me out here. And then here comes this Acura blazing up Route 66 out west. Moments later, which I don't know where he came from, but nobody got hurt.
Jimmy Hawk.
What's that?
Did he honk?
No. I heard something off in the distance, I'm like, wow.
I
Grab
was
a
in-
chair.
I was in Amboy once, there was 44 Norwegians there, and I was just visiting, and a black Corvette pulls in, and we say, oh, I think that might be so-and-so from California. So we're like, oh yeah, come on, bring your car out to the middle of the road, these guys want a picture. So we're right in the middle of the road, there's 44 people in a car parked, and a guy comes along, honks the horn, get off the highway, you know, obviously a local.
All right, everyone, one last thing. Basically, I just want to let you all know the basis of this presentation was that tourists, roadies, and business owners, that's what makes Route 66 survive today. And it's a constant evolving process. Route 66 has always been about new people and new business, and we need to embrace that. We need to encourage that. Be different, be original, be unique, create your own unique brand. Always go your own way.
Yay.
Gary's branding was a bottle of.
Who mentioned exit 90 for that?
What was that, Brenda?
Gary's branding.
When the year, won't the twins be out of diapers?